Welcome, Future Shapers! You've just tuned in to the nexus of inspiring leaders who share their successes and their failures. Insights that will motivate, educate, and illuminate your path to a very bright future. Welcome to Shaping the Future podcast. Here's your host, Greg Kell.
Hello, Future Shapers. This is Greg with Shaping the Future podcast. And today we're going to meet Mike Stevenson, the owner of Import Autos in Loma Linda, California. Mike, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, good morning, Greg. First of all, thank you for including me in your podcast. Where do I start? I have been a car guy and involved in this automotive business probably for my entire life. Started back when I was just a young kid. I had a fascination with all things mechanical, bicycles, lawnmowers, if it had an engine on it, if it had moving parts in it, that was my thing. So it just kind of led me to this direction. I guess I consider myself fortunate in that my career path was really chosen for me. It was in my DNA. Unlike a lot of people that really don't have an idea what they want to do with their lives, and they go to college and get a degree and still don't really know what they want to do. So,
but you're a car guy.
Absolutely.
Excellent. What are you most passionate about today?
Well, gosh, I still really enjoy the business, and I'm passionate about helping people with their car problems and making vehicle ownership as painless as it can be, helping people through the whole process of getting their car repaired and having it serviced.
Excellent. How Import Automotive seems like a very established company. When did you start this firm?
I started in 1976 when I was a mere 23 years old. I tell people jokingly that I started before I was old enough to know better. But I have no regrets. It's been a good ride.
41 years ago.
41 years.
I'll bet you've seen some peaks and some valleys in your life here.
Definitely peaks and valleys.
Sometimes, as a business owner, life will throw us a curveball. Things aren't the way that we expect it to. Tell the Future Shapers audience today, Mike, about the worst experience you've had as the leader of Import Automotive.
Well, probably one of the worst happened to me early on, and it was a good lesson because it was something that I needed to learn for myself. But I was growing, and I had hired a young woman to be an office manager and receptionist and help out in the shop, and I relied on her to pay my bills. And she wasn't doing a really good job, and she was paying partial payments instead of the whole payment, and I really got upside down. We almost lost the business, and it wasn't entirely her fault. I don't really blame her. It's just that I was asleep at the switch and not paying attention and relying on her to do everything and really not watching what she was doing. And so what I did, I called my creditors, my suppliers that I owed great sums of money to, and I said, listen, please work with me. Please help me. I will pay all this off. And they did. They believed in me, and they said, okay, we'll work with you. We'll continue to supply you and allow you to pay down your debt. And that was a big lesson to me in that as a business owner, you cannot assume anything. You have to constantly keep all your eyes on all the chess men, I guess is the way to say it.
Excellent. A value bomb dropped by Mike Stevenson. As a business owner, you need to watch all the money coming in and out and paying attention to the bottom line, the little details.
Yes.
How did this experience help you become the success that you are today?
Well, it just gave me the knowledge and probably a little bit of a sting to realize that as a business owner, you really do need to watch every little penny. To this day, I sign all the checks Obviously, I have a manager, and he's a signer on the account too when I'm not here. But when I'm here, I sign every check. It's a mental thing for me. It's like as I'm seeing these checks come across and I'm signing them, I know what each of my expenses are, and it keeps me aware, and it just allows me to be on top of all those expenses.
Excellent. In my view, money is a flow, and it tends to flow away faster than it flows toward you.
That's so true. Yep.
We are at the cusp of a new year right now. We're heading into 2018. Mike, when you look into 2018, what is your most important goal?
Well, most important goal is to grow the business. As everyone knows, our listeners, we have been through a pretty rough time, especially in our area with the recession. And but we're seeing growth. Things are improving. The economy is turning around here in poor little Inland Empire. And I just want to keep that momentum going and keep cars coming in and keep the money flowing in more than it's flowing out.
Excellent. And what are the biggest challenges that you're facing now to keep the cars coming in?
The biggest challenge we face really is with the changing technology. Cars are just changing at light speed. The computerization and the automation of vehicles now. I mean, you can buy a bottom-of-the-line Hyundai that has navigation system and backup cameras and anti-lock brake systems and all these things that were just unheard of 20 years ago. Our biggest challenge is staying on top of this, becoming educated, getting information to diagnose and repair these problems.
So I understand that changing technology presents a challenge for Import Automotive, and your way of overcoming that challenge is by continually educating the skill and the understanding so you can keep ahead of the technology curve.
That's true. We do as much as we can. We attend training clinics, training seminars. There's a lot of online training, video training that's available that we use, and constant reading. Myself personally, I'm constantly reading and researching diagnostic techniques and different technologies and things. So it just takes a commitment to stay ahead of that and keep studying. It's like you never stop going to school, especially in this business.
Thank you, Mike. A value bomb dropped by Mike Stevenson. You never stop going to school.
Very true.
All right. So now, in the Future Shapers Nation, we're going to enter into the Wayback Machine. We're going way back 40 plus years to the time when Mike was considering starting this business. Take us there, Mike. What was holding you back? Or how did it feel as you said, okay, this is the direction I'm going to go?
I look at myself in the mirror today and I say, 40 years? Really? I can't be that old. That can't be possible. But like I said in the beginning of this podcast, I've been a car guy. I've been fascinated with mechanical things, and my neighbor and friend from the time I was a young kid gave me my first big break. I got a job working at a shop that he was managing, and kind of served my apprenticeship there, learned a lot, worked there. I eventually left there and went to work for a Datsun dealer. If anybody remembers Datsun, that's what Nissan used to be. And while I was working there, I worked alongside another guy. He and I became friends, and he told me he was going to start his own shop, and would I be interested in working for him? And I was 21 years old. I was footloose and fancy-free. I had no ties. I said, sure, why not? I wasn't particularly satisfied working at the dealership, so I went to work for this guy, and that was the best experience for me I could have ever had, because I saw firsthand what he went through to start a business, and I helped him, and it was just he and I, just the two of us. And I soon learned that I didn't like working for this gentleman, mainly because he was quite messy. I'm a bit of a neat freak, and this guy was extremely messy and sloppy. And I was living at home with my parents, and I would come home and I'd complain about, this guy's driving me crazy. And my mom one day says, "We'll start a business. If he can do it, you can do it." And I looked at her and I said, "Are you crazy?" She says, "No, you can do it." I was 23 years old. And honestly, my mom gave me the boot that I needed to my mom's always been a really strong person. She's still alive. She's 90 years old. But she's always had a good intestinal fortitude was her term that she liked to use. And she just gave me the encouragement I needed and said, "We can do this." So she had worked as a bookkeeper and as a school secretary, and she was kind of well-versed on the bookkeeping side of a business. I didn't know the first thing about that. I knew how to twist a wrench, and I was pretty good at fixing cars, but I didn't know the first thing about a business. So Mom and I went out. We each borrowed, we took $1,000 from each of our savings, and we each got a loan for our $3,500. So that gave us a total of $9,000 to start. And that paid the first and last month's rent on an old gas station, and some basic, I already had tools, but basic stock of parts that we needed. And we got this thing going. Mom helped me for the first few months, helped me set up a set of books, and I eventually hired that was in June of 76. So after school started in September, I called the local high school and talked to the auto shop instructor, and I said, "I need somebody really good to help me." So I hired a guy that was sent by this auto shop instructor. He ended up working for me for 11, 12 years. So we were off and running. I mean, I really don't know how other entrepreneurs do this. It's not like I woke up one day and had this vision, although I always had this image in my mind of how I thought a repair business should be run and what it should look like and how you treat customers. And I just wasn't getting that satisfaction from this guy that I worked with, and just thought, you know what, if he can do it, I can do it, and I'll do it my way, and I know exactly how I want to do it. So
excellent. So confidence from Mike. If he can do it, I can do it. But maybe that confidence started with the belief of his mom and the willing to put some cash up to demonstrate.
Well, true.
Did she help you?
I was fortunate that I had a good upbringing, and my both parents were together my whole life, and my mom always gave all of us very encouraging words. And she says, my sister had horses for a while, and my mom told us, she says, "I don't care if you get a job cleaning out horse corrals and shoveling horse poop. You be the best darn horse poop shoveler they got." In other words, hard work equals high pay.
And standard of excellence.
Yeah.
Why, going all the way back, why did you form Import Automotive?
Probably the biggest single reason why is that I had this vision of the way I would do it, and I did not see that in any of my previous jobs, and particularly for this last employer, the guy that started a shop, and I worked for him, and I saw what he had gone through to start the business and saw how he interacted with customers, and I actually felt that, you know what, I'm better than him. I'm better at speaking with people and teaching people about their car, and so I just kind of had a feeling that I could do a better job, and I thought, what the heck? I didn't have anything to lose. I had everything to gain and nothing to lose back then. I was still living with my parents. I didn't have to worry about putting a roof over my head. I think that first month that we were in business, I took $50. as my pay for the month. A little bit of gas money.
At that, we're going to shut down the Wayback Machine and move to the present. You have an excellent foundation of skill and capability. You have an excellent location, and you have a good team around you. What is missing is clients. Tell me, describe your ideal client that makes you successful.
Well, first off, the ideal client is someone who understands that owning a vehicle is more than just making the payments. I blame a lot of that on the auto manufacturers. You know, they want to convince everyone that, hey, this car will last forever. All you got to do is make the monthly payments. But that's not really true. If you want your car to last a long time, there are some certain basic maintenance things that need to be done. So my ideal client is someone who trusts us and allows us to do all the care on their car. And we have a lot of customers that are like that. We do everything from fixing the tire to replacing the windshield wiper blades to overhauling the transmission. Whatever is needed, they know us, they trust us, and they rely on us for all of their vehicle needs.
That's it. Trustworthy bumper-to-bumper service from Import Automotive. Tell me, Mike, we in the Future Shapers audience are big readers. What is a book that you would recommend to our audience, and why?
Well, a book that I had a lot of impact with me, and I still would recommend it. In fact, I want to go back and reread it. It's a book called The E-Myth, written by Michael Gerber. And the E-Myth basically is that entrepreneurs start businesses. Well, no, that's a myth. And he goes on to explain that technicians start businesses. You're a mechanic working in a dealership and you want to start your own repair shop. You're a cook in a restaurant and you don't like the conditions you're working under and you want to start your own restaurant. Any business, you could be a printer in a print shop and you want to start your own. Every entrepreneur starts as a technician or someone working in that field. It's not like, I would say very few people just wake up one morning and say, you know what, I'm going to start a company. Even Steve Jobs and Bill Gates started as grassroots techies. They were building computers in their garage and ultimately led to something very big, as we all know.
Thank you for that encouragement. That's the E-book, the E-Myth, revisited by Michael Gerber.
Yes.
Excellent. Mike, we in Shaping the Future believe that our nation is at a tipping point and that we as citizens are obliged to help gently nudge our nation in the right direction. Tell us, Mike, what is America to you?
Well, in spite of anyone's political views and the direction that we're currently going, and we've always had problems, we've always had issues, but I still feel this is the greatest country on planet Earth in which we can live. And it's also the country that offers the greatest opportunities. So what we see over and over is immigrants that come from countries that don't have the same opportunities that we have. Well, what do? They take advantage of the opportunities. They are overwhelmed by the fact that, wow, I can have a business. I can have my own thing going on. In the country they came from, they don't have that opportunity. So I think America still is the number one country for opportunity and still the best place to live. Yes, we have problems. Yes, we have a lot of issues. I mean, my parents had those same feelings when World War II broke out, but we persevered. We got through it, and here we are. We got to just keep going.
America, the land of freedom and opportunity for all. And yet, America has just a few issues that we're dealing with. As an example, right now our country is confronting the long-standing blemish when powerful men degrade women. This is no longer acceptable. At Shaping the Future, we believe Americans must aspire to be our best. Our country must aspire to be its best. Women must feel safe and respected, from the public square to the workplace and beyond. We stand for gender equity. Mike, do you have any thoughts you could share to this nationwide conversation?
Well, yes, I do. Women have always been a strong force in the workplace. I mean, since the turn of the century, women have been working, and especially during hard times. Take World War II, for example. If it wasn't for all the women in the workforce, we could have lost the war. It was the women that were working in the factories, building aircraft and machinery and clothing and everything that was needed to get through the big war. So the whole issue of women being what's the word I'm looking for? Degraded or not being treated as equals in the worst place. To me, it's just appalling. It's just ridiculous. I know that these kind of things have been going on probably since the beginning of time, but it's time for it to stop. And it's time for powerful men to realize the powerful potential that they have with women as employees. I mean, women are CEOs of companies. Women make excellent employees. In many cases, better because they're more focused and they strive to do a better job. I know several women that are in this industry, and I want to see more women in this industry that work very hard to overcome that stigma of, well, gee, I'm a woman in a man's world, so I have to work extra hard. We have, from one of the parts companies that we deal with, our sales rep that calls on us regularly is a woman. And she's great. She's fantastic. She's probably one of the hardest working employees at this company. And she will bend over backwards to do whatever it is we need to keep our business and keep things flowing. So again, I just think it's time for men in these powerful positions to maybe take a long look in the mirror and realize what they're doing. They're only hurting themselves in the long run by their weird shenanigans. And that's about it.
Thank you, Mike, for stepping into that landmine pit. It's a challenge. Some people would say that's a challenge, but you've stepped up to the plate. Mike, please tell the Future Shapers audience how the listeners can reach you and what they might receive when they do reach out to you.
Well, anybody is welcome to call me. You can call me here at the shop at 909-796-0803, or you feel free to email me. My email is the business importautomotive@yahoo.com. And especially with business questions, if anybody that is thinking about starting a business, or maybe you have already started a business and just need some advice, or would like to bounce something off someone, by all means, I'm open. I love to talk with other business owners, so feel free to contact me.
Excellent. Future Shapers, we have heard from Mike Stevenson, the owner of Import Automotive, a truly high quality, high credibility, and trustworthy individual within a very high quality company. Future Shapers, thank you for your time. Check back in for our next episode that's coming up very soon. Good day.
Thank you for joining this episode of Shaping the Future podcast. We leave you, Future Shapers, with this challenge. Act boldly today to shape your future, because if you don't, it will absolutely be shaped for you.